Hey, Cliff.
Huh?
Cliff.
I can't hear you, huh?
So the buzzword at Cardinals camp is youngry.
Hey, I ain't young, but I am hungry.
Yeah, this guy gets it over here. We're with the Cardinals in Jupiter, Florida. 30 clubs, 15 days, presented by T-Mobile, and it starts right now. Clubs, 15 days is presented by T-Mobile. We're in Jupiter, Florida, home of the St. Louis Cardinals. Cliff Floyd, Robert Flores. Cliff, the National League Central figures to be wide open. Last year, we know the Brewers won this division by 10 games. This Cardinals team feels like it's almost at a crossroads right now. There's a lot of young guys, but there's also some familiar faces that are no longer here.
That are expected to sort of go out there and give you more consistency than a team like the Marlins or a team that's rebuilding fully, right? So I think when you think about Ali and his expectations, they played really good in the second half of the season. Offensively, they didn't show up as much as he would like them to. So the little things, small ball manufacturing, has to play a part in these guys as far as the maturing role flow, but not trying to do too much, not trying to be homer guys when you're not those type of guys, and I think that'll work in their favor.
Well, look, this is an important year, obviously, for everyone, but also when you focus in on guys like Jordan Walker, Nolan Gorman, Mason Wynn, who flashed last year, these are young guys that the Cardinals need to know out of 2025 what they have in these young players.
So you can call it a soft rebuild or whatever it case may be. So if you want to be a part of the future, you got to show up and show out consistently. So the game doesn't wait for you. And I think when you look at Jordan Walker, a guy, we talked to, for me, it's like he's 22. So he's still learning on the fly how to be good. And if he wants to be great, the work starts. He moved down here in the offseason. He's done some things. So that's the maturing part that you like to see. It has to transition to you being more fluid and that guy, producing a little bit more at the big league level.
Take a look here at the additions and subtractions. The Cardinals were one of 6 teams that didn't spend $1 in Major League Baseball free agent signings. Nolan Arenado is still here. He was obviously the subject of a lot of conversation in the offseason. I asked him earlier where his mind was at right now.
I mean, obviously, I'm just trying to get ready for the season, and I expect to be in St. Louis right now until I'm told I'm not, and I'm excited for it, and there's been a lot of noise out there, some truth, some that wasn't the truth, but at the end of the day, I can't control that. All I can control is myself, and I need to go out and play better. I didn't have the year I wanted, and I have high expectations, and God willing, I stay healthy and be able to accomplish them.
I read where you took all that noise and you just applied it to your off-season work. I understand you did a little Muay Thai. Tell us about that and how you think that applies to baseball.
Yeah, I think, sometimes when you're in the gym, it gets a little old, doing the same thing over and over, and sometimes Muay Thai kind of brings out something different in you, endurance, quick twitch, try to get that back and just maintain that. As you get older, that's the thing you kind of lose, and I'm just trying to maintain that as long as I can.
I read where you said that it gave you because you said your hips weren't firing.
Yeah.
And that helped you with that. Yeah. Can you explain to us how that helps you in the box?
Yeah, just throwing the kicks and stuff like that. But yeah, just exploding off your back leg and being relaxed, not tensing up, all those little things. And it was just another way for me to get that right. And I really enjoyed doing it, so that's why I did it.
When you look at this team, they're a bit of a transition.
Yeah.
Goldie's not here. There's some names. There's some young kids here. When you look at the group, what do you see?
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of young guys, but I see a lot of young guys that have a chance to do something great. And, we have some talented players here that we need to take the next step. And the expectation is for them to do that. So, and including myself, we got to go out and play better, all of us. And hopefully good things happen. You never know. Baseball is crazy. We got Sonny leading the charge, too. So it's always nice to have an ace like that. And then you never know what can happen.
Lastly, the division as a whole, it seems wide open.
It is wide open, and there's some teams that obviously got better that are going to be tough, but for some reason, it doesn't seem like anybody's running away with our division. I would assume the Brewers will be there, that's how, like they always are, and hopefully we're right there with them.
Well, best of luck to you. We appreciate the time.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
You got it.
So Jordan, man, how was your off season? What'd you sort of do to get yourself ready to get here in camp?
Yeah, man, I was pretty much down here. The workout facilities right here, obviously. Cages were easily accessible. and I worked out at a facility near here, so pretty much had everything I needed. If I need anything from here, I could get it, but that's pretty much it. Main focus really was mobility. In the offseason. I felt strong last season, but just movement-wise, I want to make myself move a little bit better. It's a lot of band work, sprinting, running, things like that.
How do you get your mind right? You know, you've had a taste now.
Yeah.
And, you know, everything about the big league is about trials and tribulations.
Right.
Ups, downs,
Yeah.
you know, ins, outs.
Yeah.
How do you sort of slow the game down for yourself to put yourself mentally in a place where you know you can go out there and be the guy we've seen you be in the minors?
Honestly, just, you know, not put too much pressure on yourself. I think I did a better job of that in 23. And then next year I wanted to, you know, I think I'd
Try to do too much.
Yeah, do too much, yeah. So I think this year is the main focus is not, you know, not put too much pressure on myself, not do too much. Have a good staff around me, good teammates. And really the main thing to help me keep me focused is, honestly, I play best when I'm not really thinking about the game that much. I'm just relaxing, do my own thing. So I found different things to do that in the offseason that kind of helped me with that. So I'm ready to go for sure. Yeah.
Hey, stay healthy, man.
Absolutely, man.
Have a great year.
Thank you, man.
All right, my man.
John Mozeliak entering his final season as president of baseball operations. First of all, how do you approach this spring knowing that this is the end for you? You're retiring at the end of the season.
Yeah, it's a very unique experience, really, because most people in this job usually get fired, and you know, you don't have a whole lot of time to sort of plan how you want to see it really end. And in this case, we have a succession plan laid out. Chaim Bloom will replace me. I think from an internal standpoint, it gives a lot of people from the manager on down just some understanding of what the future looks like. And I think from an ownership standpoint too, it gives them a little bit of, you know, breathe easy. They're not going to have to put a big search committee out there, and the Cardinals can keep moving forward, which is the whole idea.
In the offseason, there was a lot of conversation about Nolan Arenado, obviously. And
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, it's weird, right? But just to let you know, there was. And you know what? It could have been awkward, but by all accounts, you talk with Ali and Nolan, it sounds like he's in a good spot. Everyone is in a good place. I mean, that has to make you feel so much better that it's going a lot better than what it potentially could have been.
Absolutely. Obviously, this could have gone sideways in a lot of different ways, but I think the one thing that we did was we tried to honor his request to explore some things. It didn't happen. He's back here in camp right now. As of right now, he's a Cardinal, and you know, obviously, we think the Cardinals are better for it if he's on our club.
Sure.
John, for me, when you look at the core offensively, you have some players, and you saw these guys young and trying to get their feet up on them last year. What have you seen, you know, from a standpoint, maturity, you know, plate discipline from these guys this spring?
That's a great question, and really that's going to define what our club looks like. If you look back to last year, we played a lot of one-run games, put a lot of pressure on our pitching, a lot of pressure on our defense. This year we need some of these young players to step up offensively, and so you think about guys like Nolan Gorman, you think about Jordan Walker, even Lars Nootbaar. If these guys can have the kind of year that we hope they can, you know, obviously we feel like we'll be scoring runs and we think we'll be a lot more competitive of a club.
Well, it should be an intriguing season. I know it's going to be a special one for you, so good luck to you. Welcome back to Jupiter, Florida. 30 clubs, 15 days, presented by T-Mobile. Sonny Gray is about to enter his 12th year in the big leagues. And last year, his K percentage of over 30% was the best in Cardinals history. Here now, he takes you on a deep, deep dive into what he's thinking on the mound. Sonny, you got a lot of swing and miss, and you get a lot of that with the sweeper. So I thought we would kind of take a look at some of your pitches here and just give us a sense of what you're thinking there and what you're obviously trying to get swing and miss and gets out, but just what you're kind of mentally what you're experiencing here.
So these are cutters in the zone. So I do throw my sweeper. I try to, I guess when I throw it, I'm always trying to strike to ball it. It's never really a pitch that I'm trying to throw in the zone.
Okay.
So that's one thing. So location is key for me, and I feel like you get more swing and miss on the plate and under with the type of sweeper slider, whatever it is that I throw, because mine's still like a two-plane pitch. It's not like the sweeper that goes that way, and it's not really one that a catcher's going to catch right here and the dude's going to get swing and miss, because mine still has depth to it as well. I try to keep it on the plate and under rather than like sweep it across the plate.
When you're facing, let's say you're facing a veteran like Cliff, he's obviously aware of what you're trying to do. You have history with one another. So how does that play into the current at bat? Do you take into, and how does that, do you take into account the history that you have with one another?
I think you definitely, I would say yes, but yes and no. You take into account you would just know each other better, so you can play a little bit of mind games there, or do something different. And as a pitcher, what I want to do is I'm trying to have a hitter like second guess. He threw the sweeper last time, but you also can't like overthink it too.
Right.
Like, this is what I'm having success with, this is what's working, so I'm going to keep doing this until they show me that they're willing to make an adjustment.
Sonny, you just gave us a master class on pitching. Now, give us a little insight on how you grip the baseball when you throw your off-speed pitches.
An off-speed pitch to me would be a curveball or a sweeper, slider, whatever you want to call it. I don't classify like a cutter as an off-speed pitch, or a changeup, I guess, but he's probably talking about spin. So I've always used this horseshoe here. So I take the Rawlings, and everything that I throw is kind of off of that. So I come here and I preset everything off of this seam. Just kind of like helps me line things up. So my curveball, I take it this way, and I'm here. And sometimes with a curve, like a lot of people will do the four seam, and that does get it more top to bottom. But my slot is I'm a little bit of a supinated position with my hand. So I come this way with it. And the only thing that I try to do at times with my curveball is sometimes I have to get my pointer finger out of the way, because sometimes when I'm throwing it, it'll come out, and then my pointer finger will kind of kick it and kind of create a little bit more side spin. So I'm here, and then at times when I feel like I need it to go down more, I just kind of like take this finger and kind of just get it out of the way. A lot of people are going to this, but I can't do that because my hands are so small. I can't, it's hard for me to do anything spiked. It just doesn't feel comfortable in my hands. So I come here and then try to hook this thing like that. And then for my slider, sweeper, I still in the two seams, because if you want horizontal movement, you're throwing everything off of these two seams. I come here with it. And then the only thing that I do different at times, depending on how the shape is feeling in my hand, is I kind of move my thumb around. If my thumb's underneath it too much, sometimes I feel like when I throw it, it has a tendency it can kind of roll up my hand and kind of give you that that pop, which I don't want. And since we said I'm trying to always throw this pitch strike to ball, and I think of it as a power pitch. I also think of my off-speed pitches as power pitches. I'm never trying to like flip it in or do anything. They're power pitches. So I'm here with it, and then I'll take my thumb and kind of roll it up sometimes. That way when I throw it, it doesn't feel like it can pop, because my thumb's kind of keeping it there. And then I try to grip it like this and then throw it like a cutter, and let the grip and the way the ball is going to spin try to create the movement. If I try to start throwing it like a sweeper or slider or sweeper, then I think the velo goes down on it. So I grip it here and try to throw it like my cutter, because I want the velo over the movement, because the movement's going to be there.
Usually you have to get pay top dollar for a pitching master class. Sonny just gave it to
That
us
was serious.
for free. Well, we appreciate the time, man.
Absolutely.
Best of luck to you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
You got
Thank
it.
you, bro. Yeah, thank you.
All right, coming up on the other side, more with the St. Louis Cardinals. We're going to talk to their manager, Ali Marmol, and a new term that I've never heard of that a youngster came up with, Youngry. You're going to explain what that is. Do you even know what that is?
I don't. You can explain it to me.
Okay, we'll explain it all. We'll hash it out on the other side.
Manager interviews are presented by Sage, the official finance software partner of Major League Baseball.
Take a look at the standings in 2024. The Brewers won this division by 10 games. The Cardinals have not won a playoff game since 2020, and they have missed the playoffs in back-to-back years. Time now for the manager interview presented by Sage, and we've got Ali Marmol. A little birdie told me that Victor Scott, on a radio show earlier this offseason, coined the term Youngry. Young guys that are hungry, and you hopefully the two terms coming together. You do have a lot of young faces here.
We do, and they're hungry, so I don't disagree with them one bit, man. It's a really good group, but it's not an inexperienced group. They've felt this a little bit. They've been up here for a year or two. They know what it's like. But man, they're definitely getting after it. They have a ton of energy. They're coming together really well as a group as well. So I'm excited about it. I've said it several times. I'm more excited about this year than any year. These guys are getting after it, man.
You mentioned one player that is here, and to some surprise, is Nolan Arenado is still here. You said it could have been awkward, but by all accounts, from your perspective and from Nolan, everything's going okay.
He's a pro, and it could have gone the complete opposite way. But this guy's an absolute pro. He came in, sat down on day one, and did a really nice job of explaining where he was with his just overall. Here's where my head's at. Here's how I'm looking at this, and we talked through it. And he's been amazing, man. He's really good for these young guys. It's one of those guys where young guy comes in, you say, watch how he goes about his work, his preparation, how he goes into the training room. Everything he does has a purpose, and you want these young guys to mimic that. So you have a Hall of Famer walking through those doors, and I'm excited.
Ali, you know, we did the Marlins yesterday. That's young, right? Yeah. But when we think about your team, you said you have some guys that's been around. Your expectations for the young core, the Walkers, Gormans, you know, these guys have been around. What do you expect when you leave camp to start the season on the right foot? What do you expect out of these guys?
They're young, but to my earlier point, they have some experience, right? So now it's just a matter of giving them a long enough runway to show what they're capable of doing, and ball's in their court, right? So when you talk about Newbarn, Walker, and Gorman, Herrera, Pages, you go down that list, Burleson, Donovan, these are guys that have shown what they're capable of. Now it's just creating a long enough stretch to repeat it every day.
Right.
So that's what gets me excited, because it's a really big year for some of these guys to take that next step in their career and show that they can be consistent big leaguers that we can count on.
Well, we appreciate the time. We know the National League Central is always going to be wide open. It's going to be a lot of fun. We appreciate the time. That's Ali Marmol, skipper for the St. Louis Cardinals. For more on the future of this organization, let's send it over to Jonathan Mayo.
Thank you, Robert. Pretty good top of the list here for the Cardinals' top 30. It starts, of course, with their first-round pick last year, JJ Weatherholt. We'll be talking with him in just a minute. A couple of really interesting arms right behind him, lefty Quinn Matthews and right-hander Tink Hence, if he can stay healthy. Both of those guys could impact the St. Louis staff at some point. Now, a guy who's probably going to hit St. Louis sooner rather than later is JJ Weatherholt. It's our first-round pick from just a year ago. It's hard to believe, JJ. Last time I saw you, you were decked out full-on cowboy. Now, did you bring all that stuff with you here?
I have a hat and some boots here, but I left the suit and everything else kind of back home. I don't even know if I'll wear it again, to be honest. It's kind of just like a memory list, so my mom might frame it, but right now it's just sitting in the closet.
It can go in the JJ Weatherholt Museum one day,
yeah.
I guess. That was just last summer, and here you are, you're in big league camp, you're getting a lot of reps, you're working with Mason Wynn. What has that transition been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a blessing for sure. I mean, you know, I went from low A, which it's no disrespect to that level, because it's still a really good level, but then obviously you're facing different level competition in big league camp, and I've been fortunate enough, like you said, to get a lot of reps in. Started some games, which lets me actually hit against the big league pitching, so that's been really cool. Now, of course, like, these guys aren't mid-season form, fully throwing like 98 like they usually do, but I mean, it's still big league level arms, so it's been really cool to see that. And like you said, kind of just being around Mason and some of the other guys who have been through the process has just been such a big blessing. So talking to them, asking questions.
One of the cool things that started last year was the spring breakout games. Hopefully you'll be in that lineup for the Cardinals. How cool will it be for you to kind of take the field with all of this organization's top prospects at one time?
It'll be a super special moment, I think, especially for the fan base too, to just kind of see what we have coming up through the system. And the org has said that they're taking a lot of pride in trying to develop some of the younger talent that we have. So being able to show where we're at, and then a couple years down the road, you can see how far we've came. It'll be super cool. And not only that, but be able to see where you stack up with a different org. So like the Marlins, I think that's what the game is against. So being able to see their top talent, be some faces that I know, a bunch of guys that probably I don't know that I should know. And so being able to learn all that will be super cool. But, you know, anytime you get to be on the field, especially here in the Cardinals uni, is just going to be super fun. So I'm excited for that for sure.
All right, well, JJ, good luck in your first season. Roflo, we'll send it back to you, and this guy's going to be in St. Louis before you know it.
Wrapping up 30 clubs in 15 days, presented by T-Mobile, here with the Cardinals, Cliff Floyd, Robert Flores. All right, Cliff, this National League Central, it's wide open. So let's not make a prediction about the division. Let's talk about individual. I'm going to go Lars Nootbaar.
Okay.
I'm going to go 17 to 20 homers for Lars Nootbaar. I think he's got that in him. What about you?
I'm going with Mason Wynn. I think, you know, he had an all season where he talked to the Wizard, right? He talked to Ozzie Smith, and it probably about confidence, about, you know, being more aggressive. He stole a lot of bases in the minors, you know, as far as a guy who has speed, but it's about utilizing at the right time, being smart, not giving up, outs when you don't need to. So still in 11 last year, probably trying to get his feet wet and calm down. I look forward to him still in over 30 and being that catalyst and that table setter for this team.
Well, it figures to be a very intriguing season for the 2025 St. Louis Cardinals. For Cliff Floyd and everyone behind the camera and behind the scenes, I'm Robert Flores. Thanks for watching.